all of our friends from media for being with us this morning. We are launching something very new, different, and important, and want to spark some new conversation with all of you today. And we are joined by. Hello, there we go. Okay, that sounds a little bit better. So we're joined, of course, today by our Group Chief Marketing Officer, Mr. Stu Spencer, who you'll hear from in a little bit as well. So we are introducing to you today Rethink Healthy. And before we go into the details of our campaign, before we tell you more about what it means to rethink healthy, we want to ground ourselves a little bit and share with you the findings of a study we recently concluded called Rethinking Healthy, what overall well-being means to Filipinos. So there are a lot of conventions and a lot of notions that culturally we all maintain when we talk about health, when we talk about what it means to be healthy. And as we go into Rethinking Healthy, sparking new conversations about what healthy can mean, we felt it was very important for us to first ground ourselves and understand where we're coming from. What do Filipinos define healthy as today? So as we spark these conversations, saan tayo nagmumula? Ano yung umpisa? Ano yung ating starting point? And where do we move forward from? So we conducted this study to try and understand all of those definitions that people maintain about what healthy means for Filipinos today, so that we can then talk about what the barriers to health are, what gets in the way, and work together so that we can all rethink healthy, redefine what health means for each of us, and find our own personal meaning of health as we move forward. So with that, I will share with you the results of our study so that together we can begin to rethink healthy. So again, we really did this study to understand how Filipinos define health. We want to explore motivations behind what inspires and motivates people to actually engage in healthy activities, healthier habits. How do we identify how overall well-being is influenced or has that relationship with financial security and financial health as well? So these are some of the ideas that we want to explore and things that we decided to study as we went into this research. So we partnered with our research partner, Humanate. We have a total of 1,000 responders across the country. So almost an equal split between males and females, split across generations as well. Half of our responders were millennials and then 25% Gen Z, 25% Gen X. Also spread out across the country. Manila, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, as split as equally as we could. Minimum monthly income of 22,000 per household, and a mix of insurance owners and non-insurance owners as well. So this gives you a sense of who we were talking to as we went through this study. So 4 key findings that I'm going to share with you today. The first finding is that when it comes to health, Filipinos actually go beyond the physical. So it's not just physical health that we think of. When we asked our responders, how do you define a healthy life? More than half of them, 52%, talked about having a healthy body. So this is being able to engage in regular exercise, having a healthy diet, having a youthful glow, and then also avoiding getting sick and having the ability to get regular checkups to maintain that physical well-being. 30% talked about having a healthy mind being their definition of having a healthy life. So this is all about work-life balance, being able to effectively manage stress, being able to spend quality time with their loved ones. 12% talked about healthy financial habits. So there's a role that having a financial plan plays in maintaining a healthy life overall. And then finally, 7% talked about living in a safe and clean environment. So a healthy environment is part of their definition of what it means to have a healthy life. So overall, when we think of health, and when we talk to Filipinos about health, it's no longer just the physical aspect that we are talking about here. We as Filipinos now define health in 4 ways across 4 pillars: physical or healthy body, healthy mind, so mental health, healthy environment, and also healthy financial habits. So those are the four pillars that we look at when we talk about living a healthy life. So diving into the physical, what we found was actually a lot of Filipinos already engage in physical activity 2 to 3 times a week. And the interesting thing is, it's not just the stereotypes around physical activity. It's not all about going to the gym, attending structured classes, running very long distances, lifting lots and lots of weights. That is no longer just what people engage in terms of physical activity. 71% talk about walking 2 to 3 times a week. Household chores are counted as forms of exercise and physical activity. Running and jogging, gardening or yard work also is part of people's healthy routines. Dancing, so this includes Zumba and similar classes. Team sports, a lot of people play basketball, as we know, so a lot of people engage in team sports. And then strength training. So a variety of different activities. But again, the most frequent, the most popular ones are activities that are actually low impact, easy to do, quite light, and that can be integrated into everyday activities. So physical activity is getting worked into people's everyday routines. Now, while we talk about movement, while we talk about activity, another interesting finding here is that 45% of our responders talked about getting adequate rest or sleep as part of their definition of having a healthy lifestyle. So what we see here and what we're learning here is as much as there's movement, as much as there's activity, stillness, rest, the time and the ability to recollect oneself is also important to living a healthy lifestyle. 45% talk about having proper work-life balance as part of their definition of health. 41% talk about effectively managing stress as critical to having a healthy life. Now, interestingly, while almost half are saying proper rest and sleep is part of having a healthy life, about 16% of our responders reported having some form of sleep disorder like insomnia. So, gusto natin matulog. We want to sleep the 7 hours, as Bianca said earlier, but it is a challenge for some. But we're aware, at least, that that's something that's important. Okay, now when we talk about the environment also, 47% of our responders said the environment that they live in affects how they feel, how they live every day. So a healthy environment is actually critical to us feeling safe, feeling healthy. And when we talk about the environment, the factors that come into play, intense heat. So today is supposed to be very warm, so please everybody hydrate. Heat, safety concerns, unpredictable weather, air pollution, traffic. The last two probably being closely linked together. So all of these environmental factors affect how we feel as we go about our day-to-day and how healthy we feel with our everyday lives. Now, so again, physical, mental, environmental, we've talked about. Why are we so aware? We also talk about financial. Why are we so aware of health? Why is there such a high level of awareness and engagement in activities that will improve health? Our second key finding is that breaking cycles of family history of illness is actually what's motivating people to strive to be healthier, to take better care of our health. The hyper-awareness comes from the fact that of our responders, 80% said they have some form of illness in their family history. So an illness that's been passed down from generation to generation. Some of the most common ones, the top 5, diabetes, heart-related diseases, so hypertension, stroke, arrhythmia, weight-related conditions, also severe allergies, allergic rhinitis, and then finally mental health issues. And if you look at this list, some of them can be controlled, sometimes even reversed by proper healthy habits, right? So there's a high level of awareness and a high level of desire to avoid the illnesses that have been passed down from generations prior. Interestingly, so 2.3 on average inherited family illnesses among our responders. What's striking to us is that as we look across the generations, we're seeing that the average number of family illnesses has been increasing. So when you look at the Gen X responders, average of 2 illnesses in their family, millennials or Gen Y, it rose to 2.3. And when we go to the youngest set of responders, Gen Z, it's 2.5. So this could be, the impact again of the environment that we live in, how lifestyles have shifted over recent years, maybe just also better detection of illnesses and availability of detection and care. But I think this points to how, as we become more aware, then there are more opportunities for us to really change the way we do things and have these conversations about better health. So that's our second key insight. Now, earlier we talked about how 30% overall of responders mentioned that mental health is one of the ways we define what healthy means, what it means to have a healthy life. So mental health is important. A key aspect of that is having proper stress management. Interestingly, the way we manage stress as Filipinos is not always healthy. So how do we cope with stress? 61% spends time with family and friends. 52% eat comfort food. 50% binge watch favorite shows or watch movies. When we are with our family and friends, how do we connect with them? We eat meals together at home, that's 70%. We watch, so we continue to binge. We watch TV or movies together, or we go out to cafes and restaurants to eat. So a lot of our interaction, and this is reflective of our culture, the connectedness comes often around sharing a meal. And that extends to the way we manage our stress, because that's the way we all grew up, connecting with each other, right, around the dinner table and spending time together that way. So the question is, this allows us to manage the mental aspect of our health, but then it challenges the physical aspect, right? The activities are quite sedentary, and comfort food is not necessarily the healthiest. So how do we balance that? And that's the conversation we need to have. How do we relieve our stress in the company of our loved ones without overindulging in unhealthy food or unhealthy activity? Finally, so mental health, physical, we also talked about financial, and it all comes together because what we found is that being financially healthy actually helps address some of our physical and mental challenges as well. And it all comes together in an interrelated cycle, right? So 59% of Filipinos shared that money worries is their top cause of stress. So we talked earlier about how stress management is important. Where does the stress come from? Financial concerns on the most part. Half of the Filipinos we spoke with, said 47%, told us that they hesitate to seek professional medical care because they're afraid of the cost. So this is where financial concerns link to our physical and our mental well-being as well, right? We worry about seeking medical treatment, medical help professionally because we're afraid it will cost too much. On average, in 2023, we spent about 11,000 per person on medical costs. That's about 8% higher than what was spent in 2022, which was a little over 10,000. So medical inflation of 8.3%, this is 40% higher than national inflation that year, which was 6%. So the cost of medical care, healthcare, actually rises faster than the cost or of other goods and services, right, based on inflation. And this really highlights why people are concerned. It's expensive to fall ill, and that weighs down on people's worries, their mental state, and then it also prevents them from seeking care, which affects physical well-being as well. So when the unexpected happens, what do we do? Where do Filipinos get funds? 65% of us dip into our personal savings. Some will get government assistance, some have insurance, including HMO. Some also then end up borrowing from family and friends to cover up expenses they weren't expecting. About 28%, so almost a third, will go out and find a second job, a side hustle, just so they can make more money to make up for the unexpected expense. So as a result of that, 2 in 5 people that we spoke with have told us that their savings and their insurance coverage is not enough. So there's a feeling of not being ready for the unexpected from a financial perspective. And a lot of them actually told us that they would be interested in maybe buying more insurance so that they can have that protection and they can alleviate some of the worry that comes with the unexpected. So those are the key findings. In summary, we are rethinking health as holistic. It's not just physical health. We talk about having a healthy body, a healthy mind, living in a healthy environment, and also being financially healthy so that we're better prepared for the unexpected. A lot of what motivates us as Filipinos to engage in healthy activity and achieve better health as individuals is a desire to break the cycle of family health history that many find ourselves in, so that we can be healthier as a next generation moving forward. We like to spend quality time with our family and friends to relieve our stress, but sometimes our methods of relieving stress together as families and groups of friends may not necessarily be the healthiest. So we have to challenge ourselves there and figure out how do we make our quality time with our loved ones a little bit healthier. And then finally, we worry about money the most. And that weighs down on our physical health or mental health. So it's important for us to have that layer of financial protection and security to alleviate those worries and make sure that we are ready for the unexpected. So as we bring all of this together, again, we're here to spark conversation around what it means personally to each of us to be healthy, what steps we can each take personally to become healthier. And with that, we invite you to join us for the rest of the morning to rethink healthy. Thank you.